The Michelin name is synonymous with quality around the world, yet many who appreciate the performance of numerous Michelin products are unaware that the company's first tire product was a bicycle tire in 1891, when the Michelin brothers patented the first detachable bicycle bead tire. To this day, Michelin continues to innovate and produce world-class products for road bicycles, mountain bikes, and specifically designed products for e-mountain bikes, like the Michelin E-Wild tire. It's the tire of choice for my team, the Impact Results EMTB team, that's competing in the 2021 EMTB GNCC National Championship. This partnership will enable the team and its riders to showcase the performance, versatility, and durability of the Michelin E-Wild tires during our efforts to defend and pursue even more championships. Also for 2021, Michelin is introducing many exciting new products like the Michelin Force AM2 tire and the Michelin Wild AM2 tire, designed for a variety of mountain bike terrains, as well as, this one I'm excited about, the Michelin Pilot SX and the Michelin Pilot SX Slick tire, specifically for world-class level BMX racers like myself. Follow at Michelin Bicycle on Instagram or learn more about their extensive range of bicycle products by checking out their website or obviously engaging with them on social. Again, it's at Michelin Bicycle on Instagram. Hey, thanks for listening to the show. I want to talk about our friends at Just Live CBD. Support for RacerX and this podcast is brought to you by Just Live CBD. They're a trusted source for high-quality wellness CBD products created by athletes just for you. Fun fact, Travis Pastrana, ever heard of him? He may or may not know a few things about being injured, recovery, dealing with nagging pains, nagging injuries. Well, Travis is actually one of the founders of Just Live CBD, so that's pretty neat. Travis and everybody at Just Live CBD want to hook you guys up. You can get 30% off your entire order with code RACERX at checkout. Visit justlive.com. That's JUSTLIVE, justlive.com, and use code RACERX so you get 30% off your entire order.
Welcome to the Moto Marketing Podcast, presented by RacerX, the podcast for moto industry professionals, entrepreneurs, and riders. If you want to grow your brand and business in today's digital-first world, you have to know how to turn a stranger into a fan, turn a like into a customer. You have to know how to turn attention into dollars. This podcast is dedicated to keeping you in the know on real marketing tactics that work in the moto world so that you grow your business and help grow the sport. Get ready to learn from the very same marketing experts trusted by RacerX, Lucas Oil Pro Motocross, GNCC, and NBC Sports. They'll help you navigate the world of digital marketing for your moto brand. This is the Moto Marketing Podcast. Presented by RacerX.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Moto Marketing Podcast. I'm your host, Luke Nessler. We've got an exciting guest for you today. Our second in-studio guest we'll get to in just a second. Somebody that I'm excited to bring to you. Before we get started, real quick, I want to give a shout out to one of those that support us, not only on the podcast, but support the Impact Results e-bike team and the GNCC series. Michelin Tires, everybody knows Randy Richardson, who's guest rode on the team once this year, and we might be able to get him out to do it again. Look, I went to Michelin and said, I want to work with you guys this year for one reason. Their product is simply, it's incredible. Not only do they make great bicycle tires, they make excellent motorcycle tires. If you are a fan of mountain biking or e-biking, you got to check out some of their tires. I mean, they have a wide variety to choose from. You've got the E-Wild, which is an e-bike specific tire. It's our go-to choice on the team. They've got the Wild AM2, awesome XC oriented tire, smaller tread pattern, lighter tire. less rolling resistance, and they've got the Wild Enduro, which is, in my opinion, kind of a mix between the more aggressive terrain, tread pattern, and the lower rolling resistance. Amazing tires. One of the most iconic tire companies in the history of tires. So check them out. Michelin bicycle tires. Also, Impact Results, my agency, we are hiring, and we're looking to bring some talented, driven folks on that are looking to work with moto and cycling brands to our account executive teams. Those are the people responsible for helping us bring on new accounts. So if you're interested in working with some of your favorite brands, if you're in the sport or you're looking for a new direction, this is an awesome opportunity. It is a challenging job, but a rewarding job. You essentially write your own paycheck. It is a base plus commission job. The people that work on that team are some of the hardest working people in this company, and we appreciate them. We're looking to grow that team. So if you want to be able to work with us on this show and with some of the exciting clients that we work with, be sure to reach out to me. You can go to thinkimpact.com. It's THINKIMPAKT.com. Click on the jobs tab, and there's some more information there for you. So, all right, our guest today, somebody that we've got in studio because he was here for the Mason-Dixon GNCC this past weekend. We've got somebody that you guys might recognize the voice. I don't know if you'll recognize the face because he's a caller on Pulp that we all know and love, and somebody I've gotten to know over the last year, and he's doing some really cool things with his GNCC team, Blue Crew East. We've got David Nash, a.k.a. Nash. In studio. Nash, what you got to do it on the show, I
Gentlemen!
There
it is. And ladies, of course. You know,
right.
I mean, I want to include everybody in that. So it's a win.
Yeah.
I'm honored to be here.
Man. I'm excited to have you in studio. You brought your family?
I did.
So I got to meet everybody, which was awesome.
Yeah, they're my backbone. They're my rock, my wife and my girls, and you know, I'm a dad. To quote Reedy, I'm a dad, not a fad.
That's right.
And, that's what we're really enjoying, and we're riding this wave. And I want to share with other people about some things that we bumped into during this year of Jubilee.
Yep.
Again, that's a phrase. I love the films, and it's really encapsulating who we all are and what we're all experiencing. This massive shift in motorcycling, people being outdoors, and then people merging into the more racing component, record numbers at GNCC and local series.
Right.
So we've bumped into some things. I'm honored to be here to share. Thank you for having
my
wife and the girls, and I really want to share people what we've learned as a family to help grow the sport
For sure.
and increase people's effectiveness with not only industry people, but what my girls taught me indirectly was how to engage local people as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, and that's what I want to get into, and I've learned how important that is myself just by putting together the e-bike team, which is a very small segment of the GNCC series, but it's growing, and we've done a really good job of putting together just a top-notch team. So I understand a lot of what goes into reaching out to sponsors and teaching the riders how to represent those sponsors. So, but to kind of set the stage, because I'm sure the majority of the people that listen to this have heard Pulp, know who you are as a caller, but really have no idea. So like, why is Nash on there? What does he do? So you and your family put together a team.
Correct.
Because your daughter wanted to go racing, and then it's kind of grown from there. So set the stage for us a little bit.
Very quickly, I'll bring everyone up to speed. So my oldest daughter, Kate, I have two daughters, Kate and Ellie, and Amy's my wife. Kate's been racing for roughly 10 years. And during that, we had an awesome entry-level series. And during that time, she was asked to be part of a team. And the team's Team Perfect Storm. They were great. They're still around. Everything's cool. They modeled what a team has consistently been through motocross and off-roading. And it's great. You get young kids that are passionate, parents that like to be around each other, and then you start plugging people in that want to support you. And that model's been around forever. But as my oldest, grew, and then a year ago at Mason-Dixon driving home from GNCC, my youngest, Ellie, says from the back of the Tundra, I want to race. So then it got my wheels turning as this year of COVID and everything else unlocked. Kate was coming off a Super Mini. The manufacturer that we were connected with didn't have the next logical step. And so we wanted to connect with Yamaha and as a brand and as a machine. And with that, it springboarded into, hey, we need to branch off and get connected with this. We have a dealer that supports us. But how can I do it where I can get my kids involved? Because my background is I'm a career counselor, and my wife is a theater major. She works at university. I work at a school. And I'm like, hey, when it's like the Little League style team, I don't mind doing all the work, but I want to see my girls grow up to where they can talk to people, engage people.
Yeah.
And so how can I set up a model where they can tread into the kiddie pool You know, the 2 inches of water with their swimmies on, figuratively speaking. Let's get them in the low end, talking to sponsors, reaching out to our local community, because that's the key essence of Blue Crew East was, of course, people in the industry support us, and we are super grateful for that.
Yeah.
But we also wanted to empower the people in our community that would say, wow, this is a grassroots team with young ladies and young men that are emerging adults. You know, 8th grade to senior in high school is the oldest our kids are. It's my 2 daughters and 2 other guys. One gentleman's in 10th grade, Alex Lorber, he's incredible, and another guy named Ryan Botsford, who's son of Jeff Botsford, who's a WPS rep, which is just really cool. So these 4 kids got together, super passionate about racing, and we wanted to allow them to reach out and start to connect to people, whether it be emails, physical conversations at the races, how to conduct themselves on the phone. And these are lost and dying arts. So you can see it's kind of like part dad, part teacher, part person that loves racing. And most importantly, I wanted to empower my kids so they could have an appreciation and understanding it. And we can teach this to other people.
Yeah. I think it's something that doing it on a grassroots level is awesome. And it's something that isn't... Even the pro level teams need to, you know, the Team Green, to where they're hoping to groom people to be the next Villapoto or the next Austin Faulkner. It's lost even at that level, to where far too many kids think they just have to be fast because Tomac was fast, Stewart was fast, Carmichael was fast. And I think the problem with that is it's just like anybody that goes and plays Pop Warner football.
Correct.
There's probably nobody you know that's ever going to make it to the pro level. Same thing with motocross, GNCC style racing. Most of the people you know that you race with are probably never going to be paid to race a motorcycle. Does it mean that you shouldn't do the sport at all? Absolutely not.
No,
but there's so many things that you could learn through that sport that aren't taught. And for those that are becoming professional, they aren't taught these skills either, how to talk to their sponsors, how to talk about their sponsors. And that's something that I'm big on with my team. There's a lot of young kids on my team, and I'm big on everything from when a sponsor's there, shaking their hand, looking them in the eyes and saying, hey, I really appreciate it, Scott. Thanks for your support. But more than that, like, how am I getting these sponsors, and what do you need to know about that? And that's something that you're teaching your kids as well as the other folks on the team, right?
100%. So what we did was we got together in the winter, and it was actually a little too late, as we know how the things work in the industry and in racing. You want to have everything in place by, say, January 1st, which means conversations need to start by August. Let's be real. August 1st is really when you want to start doing it. And if you're going to design a plan, it's right around now, June, July. Yep. So it's kind of fitting that we're in here talking about this. And again, the target goal was, hey, we're going to try these things out for us this past year. And if it works, let me share with what works to other people, because the industry's on such an uptick. And I love dirt bikes. I love dirt bike racing. Yeah. I love the people. I love motocross, off-road, enduro, dual sport, mountain biking. I love it all. To me, it's a massive buffet. So when we talk about how we empower the kids, the target objective was, of course, we're going to have them reach out to people in the industry and activate things. But then on a grassroots level, we created like an a la carte menu, a gold, silver, and bronze, and offer local people exposure for their support. And it's not just, oh, hey, cut us a check and see you later, bye. We allowed some of our sponsors to actually purchase lubricants and other things for them to be part of their industry. So now they're just not handing revenue out.
Right.
They're buying product for these kids. And then the kids can go and say, hey, this and thanks. And we bring the bikes to the business. We have a garden center, Timothy's Garden Center in the town that we live in. The girls bring the bikes there, set them up in front, get a little press exposure, a little bit. Hey, wow, this is different. Anytime you see a kid with a dirt bike, I don't know about you. You drive down the highway, your motorcycle's in the back, people are staring at you, especially middle-aged people, grandmoms, little kids particularly, but it just creates a buzz, and that's what we're seeing in media, and that's what we're seeing with reaching out, not saying, hey, I want to get a tire deal because I'm really fast. Hey, my daughters play sports. They have jobs. Ellie just got a job at Classico's Tomato Pies, and literally 2 weeks ago interviewed and nailed the job. She's in 8th grade, and this is what we want to bring to people, to say, when you get on board with us, when we put helmets on as Blue Crew East riders, they're gladiators.
Right.
And look, I'm not everybody's a winner and we all get a trophy. That's not who we are. And that's 9 times out of 10, that's not who motocross and off-road people are.
Right.
It's the beauty of when you put that helmet on, you do the best best that you can do. Race flag to flag is a motto that has been integrated into our team. And when you race flag to flag and you leave it all out there, whatever number's next to their name at the end, I swear to you on a stack of Bibles, I do not care. And neither do the other fathers and mothers. We care if the kid gave up. And our kids haven't done that since. And that's what we're really teaching. Because like you said initially right here, the odds of you becoming a professional off-road racer, you have a better chance of walking in a bodega or a deli and picking 8 winning lottery numbers or hitting a scratch off like Preston did. Yeah. Preston did do it. He bumped like Travis Preston did. But the whole point is just being real about what you can do and how you can create a successful model where your kids can embrace racing, learn life lessons, and be exceptional at what they are.
One of the things that you talked to me about, actually, before we dive into that, let's do a quick break. We come back. I want to dive into a story you told me about a bicycle company that is supporting you and how you guys got that. So we'll take a quick break and we'll be right back. Fly Racing's 2021 line has been improved and expanded, offering the industry's widest range of moto and off-road products. Led by the revolutionary Formula helmet featuring Rheon technology, Fly Racing has taken big steps forward with the all-new Light Pant and Zone Pro goggle. It's going to debut this year at the Monster Energy Supercross by Justin Brayton and the Muck Off Honda team. The Zone Pro goggle delivers premium performance from a brand you know and trust, fearless pursuit, Fly Racing. It's personally the gear that I wear. I've worn it Moto, BMX, mountain bike. I've worn it and repped it for years. In my opinion, it's the best. Be sure to check out their goggle, their helmet, and all their gear. Fly Racing. Hey, big shout out to our friends at FMF. Little D and the guys are always doing some pretty exciting things, not just with the performance products, but man, they've got the coolest apparel in the game, and I want to give you guys an opportunity to get that at a little bit of a discount. If you go to FMF and pick up any gear you'd like, hats, shirts, whatever it is, upon checkout, if you enter the code MMP30, MMP30, you can get 30% off. So MMP30 at checkout and get 30% off your order on FMF apparel. All right, welcome back to the Moto Marketing Podcast. We have David Nash, a.k.a. Nash, founder of Blue Crew East, a team just doing awesome things in the GNCC series, teaching the youth and the racers of tomorrow how to represent themselves. I have a friend, he's actually a sponsor of the team, became a sponsor of the team because we became acquainted on this show and became a friend of mine, Wayne from Polar. And Wayne is a fan of the sport, and obviously Polar, which I have one on right now, the Grid X, they make really awesome products, and you see their product on a lot of the pros' wrists. What happens is Wayne, he gets a lot of attention because their product is great and he's been on the show and whatever, and he gets a lot of people that reach out to him asking for free product, and he shares a lot of those emails with me, and it blows, and everywhere from a kid that's trying to qualify for a Loretta's all the way up to somewhat consistent night show contenders in Supercross will reach out to him. The lack of it blows my mind, the messages that he gets, typos. I mean, just the basic 2 + 2, like
grammar.
I mean, man, dude,
base grammar.
They mess. And then what's really funny is it's just the expectation of, and I can kind of somewhat see how they might be brainwashed at that level if they're somewhat qualifying for Supercross.
Yeah, a night show guy's legit.
Even like little kids, it's like, I race motorcycles. Hook me up with some free stuff.
I'm fast. Give me stuff.
I've literally seen an email that is all but said what you just said. As a joke, you said, I'm fast, give me stuff. I've seen stuff like that, and it's like, man, I wasn't like that as a 12 or 13-year-old reaching out to random brands trying to get some help. I would always try to say, hey, here's what I can do for you. So maybe it's something that's just a natural talent that I had, or I'm naturally self-aware to where I understand how I'm coming off. I don't think everybody is like that. And that's one of the things that you and I have had conversations about, and you're really trying to teach your daughters and the other folks on the team. It's a two-way street. How can we help them? So you talked about the garden center, but you've also done some stuff with bicycle companies. What are you doing to really try to educate your riders on, look, it's not just give me, because that's what everybody else is saying.
Well, it really boils down, this isn't philosophy class, and we're not in college or in upper secondary, post-secondary education, but it's being selfless. It's understanding that you need to serve people in appreciation, not because they give you things or you have a discount. I love this so much that I can do better if I'm helping serve and get to know people about your product. You know, Michelin Tires is on board with us. That product is excellent. And it's not because you guys are sponsored or anything else, but Randy is awesome. I ran S12s for years as a racer myself. That's an old Michelin tire for the guys that listen to this. It's an exceptional product. Maxima works really well, but when the girls communicate with Ronnie or send him a message, it's not like, hey, Ronnie, I'm really fast, give me everything.
Right.
So what we're teaching the kids is it's not about you. You have to be selfless, and if people are supporting you, it's what can I do for you? I mean, it's that JFK mindset. You know, don't ask me, you know, what you can do for me. What can I do for you? Is to encapsulate that, and that's something that's hard for all of us. It's hard for every person. We're all self-serving. That's the human condition. Yeah. And the more you serve others, that's the part where you transition in life. And people that get that earlier tend to have a much more fulfilling, meaningful life. And again, I'm not a philosopher. I'm just a person that's passionate about doing the right thing for my fellow man and being genuine and real. So if we can incorporate that in a race team, let's be real and let's connect ourselves with products and people and businesses that embody that with us. And that's what I'm teaching the girls. So I'll give you an example. Kate was renting an e-bike when she was pre-riding the course. And part of our family, I work in education. My wife works in a university. Sure. I said to Kate, you got to pay for half of this e-bike rental. This is just the way it is. You need to have skin in the game. I can't be giving. It's just not a realistic model to teach anyone. And it's not that we can't afford it. It's just I'm not into that as a dad. So she was like, wow, this is getting expensive. The aha moment was kicking in. And I said, well, look, let's make a list. So we're driving. You know, you drive to these events. It's 10, 12 hours in a car. I said, let's make a list of companies that we know we see at the races. And let's find some ones that we don't see at the races. So we did that. And we started talking. And GT Bicycles came up. And I said, you know, GT is a massive worldwide brand. I don't see that bicycle there for whatever reason. Yeah. So we put together an email. Kate drafted an email, and we emailed Mike Moreau, who's a marketing guy within GT, and he got back to us, and GT decided to believe in what we're doing, and now the team has a GT e-bike that now the girls get to ride the course on. I get to cruise around and check her on in sections. So
that started with. Go back to that conversation though. It's like that. That's really cool to me that it's a teachable moment as a parent. And I know. I mean, look, there are a lot of GNCC parents that only give a damn about the result. They take their kid there. They're not really trying to teach them anything along the way. You're doing the exact opposite. So the fact that you sat down and taught them, hey, there's an opportunity here to look at, Specialized has a chokehold on the GNCC market.
And it's a great product.
100%. I'm an ambassador, so yes.
But it works good.
I love their product. Great product. There are thousands of them at that race. So you use that as a teachable moment for your kids to say, who's missing?
Let's zig.
And that's probably why you said GT, because I bet they're probably like, Dad, we see a lot of Specialized.
Yes.
So that conversation, just getting creative with who's missing from the conversation.
100%. And let's think about how we can serve them. And not only did we're going to post stuff, and we have posted stuff, but people, the real essence of when people provide anything for any racer is the heartfelt conversations that occur at the campfire where you're like, hey, look, I use this stuff because it works. First and foremost, anybody knows this. You just don't get support by a bicycle that doesn't work properly, or a supplement, or a coach that you work with because they're doing something for you. You're using the product because it works, and and you vetted it. So the whole concept of vetting something, some product, is the core nucleus of not just gimme. Because whenever you see a post, and this is something that, again, each one of us has these own hot buttons inside of us. I can't stand when I look at someone's results and it's like P3 on the day. And it's all about result driven. I raced enduros for a really long time, and I loved it. We're blessed that the area that I lived in. We still have a great series, but I got to race a lot of really great enduros. At the end of the day, I was having more fun about the whole adventure. And dude, I put my heart and soul in it. I mean, I was an A-level guy. I hammered, and I wanted to walk into that gun club at the end of the day and see if I beat people, because I'm a competitor at heart. But at the same time, I didn't walk up to somebody and be like, hey, where'd you finish on the day? I say, how was your day? How'd you ride? And I meant that. Like that was, I couldn't stand it when somebody walked up to me like, where'd you finish? Now you're instantly sizing me against you to make yourself feel better. And maybe I'm just thinking too deep psychologically. Yeah. But I was like, there's so much more fun stuff going on here today. And when I see my kids get done racing, I always ask them, how'd you ride? Are you happy with how you rode? And I'm serious. Don't get me wrong. You blew the start? Let's talk about that. I'm not one of these people that dismisses inadequate performance. I'm really not. But I want to talk about the weekend. I want to talk about the friends. My kids have a stronger social life racing these series than any AMA East, GNCC, SXCS, ECA. It doesn't matter. Whatever it is, it's the social component and the life lessons that is the core nucleus of this team.
I think, man, you talking about that and what really matters isn't always the victory. I think that a lot of companies are still caught up with I mean, we're telling, the kids and the talent of tomorrow to understand that it's more than just winning, but there are some companies that's all they care about. But I think that they're going to get left behind, or they're going to struggle if they don't wake up sooner than later on it. And I mean, I'll use an example. I mean, I love Moto, but my team is e-bikes. I'll use that as an example. Charlie Mullins, who anybody that has ever followed GNCC, Charlie Mullins is one of the all-time greats. He's transitioned into cycling. He is a rocket ship, and I like Charlie. Charlie's a very nice guy, very quiet, keeps to himself. He's not Mr. Personality, Mr. Social. He's there, even though e-biking is a small sport, he's there to help at the gear tent, but then he's there to win. He's not there to talk to fans. He's very quiet. He's a recluse, keeps to himself. I've had conversations with Specialized because they're very invested in helping Charlie. And I've told them, you're missing out on the real story that sells e-bikes. And I know personally, I have sold thousands and thousands of dollars of e-bikes to customers for the local shop that supports us because of the team and the stories that we tell through the team.
Correct.
Good example is there's a gentleman on my team. His name's Dave. He's late 40s, 250 plus. He's got a crazy past, and the story of what e-bikes have done for him, he's told me multiple times, e-bikes have saved my life. He has sold, through his story, more e-bikes, I believe, than Charlie Mullins has, because Charlie, again, is an athlete and he's focused on winning. He's not focused on selling what an e-bike can do. So there are a lot of brands that are set on, they want that top guy.
That win.
They don't care about the David Nash or the Dave Kneff who, man, their story is going to sell more e-bikes or more product, oil, tires, whatever, than the Eli Tomac. I think he's a good example. There is a shift going on to where there's a reason 7 Deuce Deuce and AJ Cantanzaro and these guys have rides. It's not as highly paid as Eli Tomac, but Eli Tomac is a recluse. He has he has the personality of a potato. He's not paid to have a personality. There's a reason why somebody like Adam Intignap is on Suzuki's top factory team 100%. When he's not even close to the fastest rider. He has a personality, and so some brands understand that. But then I say that and I almost contradict myself, because then on the same team as Eli Tomac, you've got Mr. Personality, you've got Adam Cincerillo.
Yeah, but the companies, maybe the manufacturers there, but the brands that are there along with it. And I think you're touching on a really valid point. The reality is when someone's cutting a check for millions of dollars like you do for the absolute top elite, that is a massive market share. Like, check that out. If you want to do that, it's that subliminal. He's fast, I want to be fast, I'm going to use that product. But there's
definitely still some of that.
Oh, yeah.
But that's a 2002,
100%.
maybe to 2005
100%.
mindset. It's not necessarily win on Sunday, sell on Monday anymore.
You've been around the pits. I've been around the pits. There's people that enjoy being around other people because they have a passion for what they're doing.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we're teaching. I'd love to teach people through this simple little thing. Hey, I'm passionate about the products that we're using and engaging my local businesses and empowering my kids.
Yeah.
I think that is a real way people could harness. Is it perfect? No. Do I know everything? No. Am I here on this show to tell everybody I've answered all the problems? Absolutely not. But the whole concept of that Robotron, I am super fast. In case you missed it, give me, dude.
But what about all those that aren't super fast and don't get that support? That's where 100%. David has you have the model, and it's where you're trying to better or perfect the model to where for those that aren't, the Jesse Ansleys.
Yes.
To where he has gotten what he's got.
Yes.
He's a great kid, great personality, but he is where he's at because his skill. But what about those that are the everybody else that wants to be there? You can still find support, but you can't expect to do it the same way Jesse Ansley
100%.
did, to where he was fast as hell. There's other things, and that's what you're teaching your kids, and I think it's awesome.
And that's what I want to convey to other people. To me, I got a great lifelong friend, a guy named Kenny Held, great guys with the AMA. He started Team Perfect Storm.
Sure.
It's awesome. He looked at me one time and he goes, Dave, don't you get it? We're riding a wave with these kids right now. They want to be with us. When they get a license, so they have to do post-secondary, whether it be trade school, military, college, work full-time in career-based employment, that next cycle of life, the optics are going to change. But for right now, your kids want to be at a racetrack, not necessarily every second with you, and I don't want my kids with every second, but we're together experiencing things that you just can't do any other place. And I want to do that as long as I can, as long as they want to do it with me.
Yeah.
And then,
and what's cool is if you do it right and you do what you're doing, I'm seeing what you're talking about right now. I've seen it when I ran a BMX track. I'm seeing it with some kids on my team where they're at that age and they're focused more on cars, girls, money.
Normal.
If you do it right, you can teach your kids valuable lessons
100%.
to where if they do step away from the sport for a little while, because a lot of times what will happen is Johnny Smith will get a car and then he'll be distracted for 5-6 years and then he'll come back. But what have you taught him from the time he was 8 to 16 that he can use to maybe get that job at the local pizza shop or have that relationship with his boss and there's some valuable lessons that can be taught if you do it right. It's not all about just going to the damn race, spending money and winning or losing. You're doing some different stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's your son, your daughter, as they transition to that 12, 13 age, that's when their mindset's going to start to change what drives them, and are you empowering them? And again, I'm not saying I got it all covered, but I do see my girls that are engaged. And Kate wrote the email. Ellie hand designed these beautiful thank you notes that she hand drew, colored in, like super cool art pencils. Beautiful. And I've walked into businesses and seen them hung up in the business because Ellie drew that and wrote a thank you note. Beyond belief, thank you so much. So it's all those little life lessons that we learned indirectly. And Moto's such a good tool. Whether you're like I said before, motocrosser, off-roader, sprint enduro, it doesn't matter. You can do this with your son or daughter. So I mean, I'm just excited to be able to share this model with people.
Man, I know you like to talk, so you probably won't be mad if I tell people, if you see Nash at a race,
please.
Now you know what he looks like. Man, pick his brain. Come up and talk to me. Go talk to David, because what you're doing and what I'm trying to do with the youth on my team, man, I think it's cool. And like it's cool to see it with your kids to where, I mean, they're not in here now because they took your two beautiful dogs out to get a little exercise. Your daughters, I said hi to them, and they looked me in the eye. They shook my hand. Dude, that sounds like well, duh, that's what they should do. Yeah, man, it is rare. Like, it's, again, like even some of the kids on my team that are great kids, if it's not somebody that they know, they get intimidated they clam up and they won't look you in the eye. And so to teach them at that age and for them to be doing that at 8th grade, and then what's your oldest is
Kate's going into 10th.
Yeah,
she's a freshman.
Dude, I mean,
she's riding women's B.
Yeah,
I mean
very mature. It was cool to see that. So
I'm a career counselor. At what I do. So I have 3 careers. I was a professional auto mechanic. Then I was a high school teacher. I taught auto shop. Okay. And then I transitioned to career counseling because I was so passionate about seeing my guys in my classroom transition to either private shop, dealership, whatever, that I was like, wow, the administration was like, hey, you should do this for the whole school. And I'm like, wow, that's really honorable that you think of me that way. Let me go back to school. That wasn't fun. The kids were babies. It was a nightmare. But here I am now, and I've helped hundreds and hundreds of kids. And what I found is I'm like, oh my gosh, the sooner I can get them working, not because it's like being chained to a rock and watch them suffer. That's not what I'm talking about. All those things that all of us have learned at a place of employment where it's a contractual agreement. Congratulations, you're hired. I agree to pay you, and in return, you're going to do these things and you're going to do it well. Once a guy or a girl gets off that, they get off Teenage Island. And racing gets kids off Teenage Island because you know what? You don't like how you finished? And the number is important. And you're like, well, Nash, you said it's not. It doesn't define my kids, but it certainly is valuable to them if they don't like it. Last week, Ellie had an off race. at the last GNCC. She came back and rallied. She fixed her start, and she finished way better than she did the last race. And that was all on her.
Yeah, and that's a life lesson that she's going to be able to recall on when she's 35 and something's going on.
Absolutely.
Like that's really what this is about.
It's
the
gritty.
Sport. Yeah.
It is. And so it's not just finish well. It's how do you handle yourself in this dynamic social circle. And the sooner I found kids start to work, they start to be empowered with their own revenue stream, buying things. Kate bought her own cell phone. Yeah. Parents are like, I can't believe you did that. Why wouldn't I? Yeah. Dude, if a kid's got a $1,200 phone and 4 pairs of $400 sneakers, and they're giving every motorcycle and everything right out of the gate, guess what? When racing throws them a curveball, a tib fib, or something awful, and we don't wish that on anybody, but come on, let's face it. What we do, it can end very quickly. Yep. So let's empower our guys and girls is all we're saying. So,
I love it. Hey, tell me, as we start to wrap things up, tell me about some of the folks that are helping you guys out this year. I want to make sure we recognize those folks.
Well, thank you. WPS Fly Racing has been on board and really embraced this. Scott Goggles, Johnny Knowles, Janolfi, those guys are great. Ronnie at Maxima. I mean, when you call Maxima and talk to Ron Lachine, like I'm a steward of the sport. Yeah. Like I was blessed.
I met him at the AIM Expo one year, and I was like,
Dogger is so awesome.
He's just standing there, and he's just a human, like he's a normal person.
The ability of like those genres, like the Johnson Dogger Ward, and then watch at Bradshaw transition to MC, and I'm pumped to be able to be doing this with my family and still be living through this. But Vertex Pistons, Pro Taper, Alpine Star, Pivot Works, that whole conglomerate with like All Balls Racing and Pivot Works and all those guys, they're so good to us. Michelin, we had a little tire transfer, but that was okay. Duval Racing, EVS Sports, JD Jetting. If you have a carbureted bike and it doesn't run right, please call them. Works Connection, which is amazing products, radiator supports and all that good stuff. Coach Rob. Kate works with Coach Rob Beams. Yeah. He was a guest on the show.
He was a guest recently.
And the information that's transferred from there is really strong and powerful. Galfer, TM Designs, FMF, Little D. Dude, Little D.
Little D. They're a client. He's one of my favorite people that we work with, man. He's such a humble human being for what they are and who he is. It's incredible.
We were down at the Florida GNCC, and we were hanging out at the Sippy Hole for the afternoon race, and when somebody's just like, that guy looks hot and tired, and I'm not Mr. Carry beer around all day long, but I had an extra beer with me. I'm like, hey, Donnie, do you want a beer? He's like, dude, thanks, man. That's all. I'm like, this is racing, hanging out with Little D, watching Sippy Hole. Lastly, Motion Pro Tools, some really cool stuff. And Evans Coolant. Evans Coolant has really helped our team a lot. But those are just things. And then we have our local sponsors. I have a local Ford dealer, Haldeman Ford Route 33, Timothy's Garden Center. I got a realtor, Jeanette Larkin. If you're in Central New Jersey and you need a house sold, you need to talk to Jeanette Larkin because she is awesome and amazing. ChemDry, they do carpets and they do carpet cleaning. He's amazing. And Restore Pro. And we have a company called CNC Catworks. So those are the people that are behind us. And they love seeing the updates with our kids. Like Ryan Botsford, J-Bot, as Randy Richardson calls him, he just graduated from high school and his prom. On our social media, we're going to have pictures of that. Not because he's racing through high school. Right. And there's nothing wrong with people skip their graduation to do that. But, hey, that's a normal kid event. Yeah. Kate's looking to play field hockey next year. How are we going to do that with racing? We're going to be up front with the coach. Hey, listen, I do this too. I understand if you have to bench me. But this is my racing schedule. Yeah. We do that. I just gave Ellie's boss her next 2 month schedule. And like, look, this is when we're racing. Snowshoes coming up. That was on there and some other stuff. So it is possible to do this. Do I think I'm sabotaging my kids on their racing level? No, I don't. Yeah. And it's not because I'm some all-knowing guru. It's just like we all said before, the odds of you making it are so slim that these other things can propel success in a way that you never even dreamed of. So
I agree.
Hey, look, thanks for giving me a vehicle to share it. And
thanks for listening to the show. The way we met was you listened to the show. You 100%. Called me and left me a voicemail and as David Nash, and I was like, it didn't click that was Nash, and I was like, why is his voice so familiar?
We talked in January.
Yeah, it's still weird to me that people listen to this show. I talked to Jesse Ansley at the Mason-Dixon GNCC this past week, and I just went up and said, hey, man, I like your videos. And he was like, dude, I listen to all your podcasts. And now I forget that I do this show or that anybody even cares about this thing. But it's cool that you guys listen to it, and it leads to relationships like this, which I appreciate.
I love the jewelry store. The guy here in town.
Tom.
That was an awesome.
That's cool. That's
I mean,
cool.
the reason I called you was because I realized, hey, you might know something that I don't. And as starting a new team, hey, let's teach me anything you can. Give me 15 minutes. I don't want to bog your day down for real. And that was real. I'm like, this guy knows more than I do. Look, let's face it. The older you get, the more you realize you don't know.
Right, 100%.
And you empower yourself by saying, hey, I don't know. And then you talk to people that do know.
Sure.
And that's, I don't know.
No, I appreciate it. Well, man, I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate the friendship. I'm stoked to be able to see you at all the GNCCs, and it's awesome to meet the family. And for real, anybody that goes to these races,
if you see me,
please talk.
Stop
to
by the camper. My dog, we got 2 adopted Chihuahuas. I'll make you laugh. One looks like a fox that got shrunk by a ray gun. The other one looks like a burnt hot dog. But
he's not kidding.
But regardless, listen, if I can help any way, shape, or form. Like I'll share. I've given people the documents that we've created in terms of how we engage with us. I'll share that with people. Yeah. This isn't a cool guy club. Motorcycle sales are up 30%. I want to connect people with products that are doing that, so we can enjoy racing as families and enjoy the life lessons that racing can provide. That's Blue Crew East.
Yeah.
And hey, check us out. Obviously, Facebook and Instagram. BLU.CRU.East. It's on the shirt.
Yep.
And listen, give us a follow. I'll follow you back. The girls will be interacting with you. We're going to be writing. We're driving home to New Jersey, 6-hour ride home. Kids are going to be writing posts. Amy edits the grammar. It's like a free grammar test. We make, and so we're together. I'm not saying that my kids run this whole thing, because that would be a lie, and I'm not saying that. But they're doing it. Yep. I'm not doing it.
Yep. It's awesome, man.
It's very cool.
Well, David, I appreciate you coming in, and we'll be seeing you at the next race.
Awesome. Cheers, everybody. Stop by. Thanks, Luke, and everybody involved. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you for listening to the Moto Marketing Podcast. If your goal is to get real, measurable results from your marketing that will grow your company revenue, then check out how Impact Media can get the same results that they have for Moto's most iconic brands by visiting thinkimpact.com. That's THINKIMPAKT.com. Have a marketing question that you want answered on the show? Send your questions to questions@motomarketingpodcast.com. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast. And we'll catch you on the next episode of the Moto Marketing Podcast.